Wonderhussy here, just sitting in my car, lurking at another hot spring. That's right, I'm on a hot spring stakeout, you might say. And yes, I know my windows are filthy, but you'll just have to excuse me. I've been camping for a month now, and well, I haven't been able to keep up on my car washes. Anyway, there's supposedly a hot spring right out there in that field of sagebrush. And I thought I read online that it was on private property, but I happen to be in the area anyway. I'm headed to Reno, believe it or not. So I passed right by this place. I thought, let me go over and check it out. And lo and behold, I don't see any private property, no trespassing signs. What do you think? My friend is on his way to Reno to meet me. It's 5 o'clock. I think I'm about an hour away. Oh, I think I have time to go check it out. Let's see. Okay, let's go take a look. I feel like I gotta be real quiet because this hot spring is right in the middle of a neighborhood. Well, it's a neighborhood that's kind of on the edge of this vast valley, but you know, there's houses all around, and it's 5 o'clock, so people are probably gonna start getting home from work any minute now. I think the hot spring is right down here. Ugh. Well, there's some soiled napkins, and that certainly seems like a sign that some hippies were soaking here. And then you can see there's a pretty obvious pull out here, so it looks like a lot of people do come here. Oh, look, here's the trail. And again, just to be clear, there's no private property, no trespassing signs, so I feel okay going down this little trail and checking it out, even though I am in direct line of sight of that house. They're probably used to dirty hippies coming out here all the time. Wow, yeah, it looks like there was some kind of old hot spring bathhouse or something here at one time. I mean, could there still be a pool under this siding material? Ah, nope. Dang it. I thought there was going to be like this beautiful crystal Caribbean blue pool hidden under this old trailer siding. Okay, well, strike one. I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep following this little trail and see where it leads. Now, oh wow, look. It's like this weird, I don't know if you would call that a dam. I wonder if that's warm water. Kind of a steep drop off. I can't quite get to it. And I left my thermometer in the car, and it's buried under a million things, so I don't really feel like digging it out. Instead, let me just follow this little stream down, down, down through this scrubby little meadow that's probably crawling with rattlesnakes. Oh, a truck just went by and yelled something, but I don't know what it was. Ooh, I better be quick here. This is the kind of neighborhood where you see a lot of buck fight-in flags and such, if you know what I mean. Okay, well, golly, it looks like there is a trail leading into this meadow. Maybe there's some kind of soaking pool down there, because I don't see any place to soak here. It's just like after that little waterfall, it's just this very rocky, shallow little creek. So let's go down here. I gotta take a tinkle anyway. I've been driving for a while, and well, I stopped to get gas, and it was one of those cheapy gas stations that didn't have a customer restroom. So I'm sure I can find a friendly bush somewhere out here. Wow, yeah, look at this trail. It's obviously very well traveled. Lots of footprints. Now, I suppose that could just be people walking their dogs, or it could be lunatics like me, always on the hunt for another hot spring. Okay, here it looks like the trail kind of forks off. Let's see what's down here. Oh gosh, it's real overgrown. I don't know, man. This doesn't seem very smart. 1,001 rattlesnakes, not to mention spiders and ticks, and oh, there's not even a soaking pool in there anyway. Well, there is kind of a wallow. I'm not quite desperate enough to wallow yet. Let's keep going down that other trail. Maybe we'll get lucky. Oh yeah, look. Dun, dun, dun! A beautiful soaking pool in a glade. Oh my goodness, look at this thing. This is absolutely beautiful and 10 times better than I was expecting. But I haven't forgotten that angry person in the pickup truck, so if I'm gonna try out this hot spring, well, I better do it quick. Look at this, there's even a little bench in this shady little glade, so you don't have to just put your clothes down on the ground. How about that? Okay, I'm naked as a jaybird, and I better do this quick because that guy probably already called the cops. Even though, like I said, I did not see nary a no trespassing sign. Ooh, it does feel like ooh, yeah, it's nice. Oh my gosh, it's hot. Owie, ooh, ah, it's almost too hot to stand. Oh gosh, now I do wish I had my thermometer. I would guess this is like 106. Really nice. Yeah, I know, I got a terrible flip-flop tan. But look how clear this water is. Nice sandy bottom. And then the creek just continues running through this gorgeous little meadow. This is like the best kept suburban secret of all time. I mean, if I grew up in a suburb with a hot spring, I would have been one happy teenager. Okay, enough yakking. I gotta get in all the way so I can say that I did it. You know what I mean? I've been to over 100 hot springs, and I only count a hot spring if I've actually submerged myself in it. Now, of course, I'm only submerging myself up to my chin because A, I don't want to get my hair wet, and B, I don't want to get a brain-eating amoeba. That's right, Naegleria fowleri, that brain-eating amoeba that crawls in through your nose and infects your brain, and you're dead in like 5 to 7 days. Well, that's not just something that happens in hot springs. You can get that in any water that's over, I think, like 60 degrees. So somebody just died about a year ago in Lake Mead from it. But usually you only hear about it when it comes to these hot springs, and everybody thinks it's particular to hot springs. Well, it's not. Okay, speaking of hot springs, this spring is really hot. Like I said, I'd guess it's at least 106, so I can't stay in very much longer. I can feel my skin starting to tingle. Probably gonna turn pink like a lobster. And I'm supposed to meet my friend in the big city, well, actually the biggest little city in the West, Reno, for dinner. And if I show up to dinner looking like a lobster, well, he might think I'm what's for dinner. Man, it's a shame I heard somebody yelling from that truck, because now I'm all paranoid and I can't really sit here and enjoy myself, because I think I'm gonna get to Reno like an hour before my friend anyway. So, you know, it would have been nice to just hang out here and sip on a ranch water and take a little break, rather than spend an hour waiting for him on the mean streets of Reno. You know what I mean? By this little waterfall. Looks like some hippies were here with some candles, which, as dry as this brush all around is, not sure that's such a good idea. Anyway, like I was saying, I'd love to just wallow around here and flap around like a fish and drink like a fish. But yeah, I got spooked by that person yelling at me, and for all I know, they were just yelling, you know, Trump 2024 out the side of their truck or something, and, you know, I could have just gone woo and been okay, but I don't know. I'm not from around here. I don't want to step on these people's toes, and my own toes are being boiled slowly as we speak, like the proverbial frog in the pot. So I guess I'll just go ahead and get out. At least that way I won't be naked when the cops show up, if the cops show up. That way I'll only get a ticket for trespassing and not for public indecency. Which, again, I did not see any signs that said public property, no trespassing, blah, blah, blah. So I really feel like I could at least claim innocence. Okay, I got my shorts on. Now I'm only half naked. Now if they come for me, I'll only get busted for being topless, which maybe is only 50% of the fine. I don't know, you tell me. Most of the people who watch this channel are men, and you don't have to worry about that. For some reason, your nipples are okay to show on YouTube. But mine, well, golly, if I pan any lower than this, I'll be in YouTube jail in no time. Now, how does that make any sense? You tell me. All right, now I'm decent enough to go to church. I guess I'm just gonna go back to my car. I'm gonna sneak back to my car. I'm so paranoid. I don't know. I mean, like I said, there's so many footsteps here. Obviously, tons of people go to this hot spring. But then again, just because everyone else is doing it doesn't make it right. Boy, this was like one of the quickest skinny dips I ever did. In and out in 5 minutes. Love this little spring. Really, 10 out of 10. Well, maybe 9 out of 10 because it's crystal clear, it's piping hot, it's shallow enough you can just sit down, have a beer, hang out, big enough for several people. Can't quite give it 10 stars though because there's limited parking, and I don't know if my tires will be intact when I get back. This has got to be the best kept secret in Nevada, though. Just beautiful, and you would never know it was here. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe the trail does keep going. It might go to more pools. And I can see my car is still there. It hasn't been burned, so let's go a little bit farther. Since I have time anyway, let's go a little bit farther down this path and see maybe there's more soaking pools. You know, that one was super duper hot. Maybe there's a cooler one the farther we go down. I don't know, the creek seems like it dried up considerably, and there's maybe not much more than a trickle at this point. So I'm gonna guess this trail here is only used by people walking their dogs, you know, kids playing hide and seek, which, oh my God, this would be an amazing neighborhood to grow up in as a kid. You know, you could run around this whole field and you could have all kind of cool little clubhouses and forts in the bushes. And well, kids don't really care about hot springs, but where there's hot springs, there's often naked ladies. And so can you imagine, you know, you're 11, 12 years old, you just finished your paper route, you're riding home on your bike, and then you decide to stop in and check the old hot spring, and you walk down this path and you peek through the leaves real quiet because you know there might be boobies there. And sure enough, there's these 3 high school girls that you've seen in town. The one works at the Dairy Queen and you've had a crush on her forever. Blonde, blue eyes, beautiful. And you always imagined that she would have ripe, firm, bouncy breasts with rosy, pert nipples. Well, that's what you imagined through her Dairy Queen uniform shirt, but now peeking through the trees, you can see for yourself that, oh, it's true. And even better than you thought, she has 3 breasts and 3 nipples. That's right, a bonus nipple. Ooh-wee. And so you jump back on your bike and you pedal as fast as you can over to your friend's house. And all your friends are sitting around playing video games. So you bust into the room and you go, hey guys, you're never gonna believe it. I saw Brenda's boobs and she has 3 of them. And all your friends start laughing. Oh, you idiot. You're always making up some crazy story. No, I swear it's true. I was just riding past the hot spring after my paper route and I saw her. Well, nobody would ever believe you in a million years. But that's the kind of thing that could happen in a suburban hot spring like this. And ever after that, even years later, after you'd grown up and gone to college and gotten kicked out of college and joined the military and got sent overseas and had some bad experiences and came back home and got a job in a factory, even then, on those lonely nights at the local tavern, after your shift at the factory, because your wife left you and she took the kids and the dog, and so the only people you have to talk to are the boozers at the local bar. Even then, you can always think back to seeing beautiful Brenda Baker's bouncing boobs, all 3 of them. Okay, enough out of me. That's just a personal fantasy I have. I mean, not a sexual fantasy, but I always thought if I went to get a boob job, because I'm, you know, notoriously underdeveloped, and I considered getting a boob job. I actually went in twice for a consultation, and once I even went on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and I told them if I won the money, I would use it to get a boob job. Well, after all that, I sort of thought it would be cool to get 3 boobs, because at the time I lived in Vegas, and if I'm getting implants put in anyway, what's the harm in having them shove a 3rd one in there, you know? And then that way I could go work at the strip club and get all the attention, because I don't know, you tell me, if you went to a titty bar and there was a stripper with 3 boobs, wouldn't you want a lap dance from her? Okay, I'm not a guy, but I would. It was just an idea. Wow, I wonder what the story with this old bathhouse is. Maybe there was some old hot spring resort here. I mean, they certainly have hot enough water and enough of it to have a little resort here. It's a shame they don't anymore, but I guess it was a bonus for me that it was wide open. Okay, let's sneak back to the car. I'm not going to make too much noise. I'm not going to draw too much attention to myself. I'm not going to be blathering loudly about boobs and 3 nipples. I'm just going to get back in my car and get out ski. Doesn't look like any of my tires are slashed. And thankfully, I had the foresight to engage 4-wheel drive before I came over here, because I don't know if you noticed, but it's real soft and sandy The asphalt actually ends literally right here. I don't know if you can see that. The asphalt ends right before the hot spring. And then the road gets real soft and sandy almost immediately. It reminds me of that, remember Shel Silverstein wrote those kids' books of poetry, Where the Sidewalk Ends? Well, this hot spring was sort of like where the asphalt ends. Where the asphalt ends and the fun begins. Oh no, look, there's a police, a Nevada Highway Patrol that lives right there in that house. Ah! If only he knew what I had just been up to. He probably sees it all the time, living as he does right down the street from what I'm going to call Suburban Springs. You probably thought I was gonna call it Triple Booby Springs, Triple Double D Springs, something like that. No, I'm gonna call it Suburban Springs because it's right smack dab in the middle of a suburb. How about that? Nevada is just full of surprises, y'all. Here I was on my way to Reno, never expected I'd have an adventure like I just did.